Welcome back to I Have No Clue. Okay, in today's episode, we're going to talk about how the military waste money for no reason. So, this is just one example that I witnessed firsthand on wastefulness in the military. Anyhow, let's get into it. Back in the 90s, um, I was in the military in the Army. I was stationed at Fort Carson, Colorado. Um, I was in a CAV unit. It was a lot of fun. It's kind of different. We wore Stetsons, which is like a cowboy hat, and spurs um, on Thursday. As long as you went to a spur ride, uh, in other videos I'm gonna talk about the kind of shenanigans they used to do to get people spurs. It's kind of real. It was hilarious. But anyhow, they stopped all that because there's some crybabies saying that hazing was bad and all this stuff. But anyhow, this happened back in the 90s. Um, we were in 1960s barracks, like Vietnam era barracks. They're brick, all brick, 3 stories, well built barracks, and it had the tile floor on all 3 floors. You know, the kind that you'd shine, and there was absolutely nothing wrong with the floor. We shined it. We'd strip it and shine it, and it looked good. It looked real good. And then um, in the barracks rooms, we had steel bunk beds and steel wall lockers and steel desks. Well, I don't know. And there's nothing wrong with the bunk beds. There's nothing wrong with the desks. There's nothing wrong with the wall lockers. Now, when you'd open the wall lockers in the morning, they like went click clang. I mean, they were loud as hell. So you knew when people were getting up because you could hear those wall lockers. They were loud as shit, but they still worked. You could lock them, and they'd still hold your gear and your clothes and personal belongings. Well, someone got a great idea. I don't know who. Someone got a great idea um, to take and put carpeting down over the tile floor, and it was these big square carpet pieces that you'd peel off the back. You'd peel the back off, and it was sticky, and it would stick down on top of the tile. So basically, after they'd put this carpet on top of the tile, they pretty much destroyed the floor that had been there for years and functioned well. So anyhow, they went ahead and they took 12 buildings, 3 floors each, and they put down this carpeting, which would last, I don't know, 6 months to a year with soldiers going on the carpeting. I mean, carpet's not going to last with a bunch of soldiers and boots and all this stuff going on top of it. So it wasn't going to last. And not to mention the fact that it was going to absolutely destroy the floor that there was nothing wrong with. So that was a huge waste of money. 12 buildings, 3 floors each, carpeting and destroying the floors. So that was the first part. That was a total waste of money. And then they decided to take all the wall lockers, all the bunk beds, and all the desks. We loaded them into 5-ton trucks and deuce and a half trucks. And you would think they wanted to get rid of all of them, and you'd think they'd take the steel. You'd think they'd take the steel to a scrapyard. Nope, nope. We took it to a landfill. A landfill. So we're chucking the stuff off the back of the trucks, from 12 buildings, no less. So this was like a big operation. We're, as a private, and we're throwing the stuff off, and as I'm throwing it off, I see new uniforms and with tags and all this other military gear that other units were throwing away too in a landfill, not recycled. Like they could take a lot of these uniforms and give them to like Trader Joe's or those little places that sell military stuff outside the bases, or do something with them. But anyhow, we're taking the steel and throwing it into the landfill. So that was a total waste of money. And they replaced all the steel stuff with oak bunk beds, oak wall lockers, and oak desks. Now, oak is nice, but it's not going to last with soldiers. How they're rough on stuff. So the oak, I'm gonna guess, would last about 10 years, and there was absolutely nothing wrong with the bunk beds. There was absolutely nothing wrong with the wall lockers. Now, the one thing that I would agree with to change, and they did change too, was the mattresses. We did throw the mattresses out onto the landfill too. That's the only thing they should have changed, but instead they put down carpeting that was not necessary, which was stupid. Plus, they had to buy vacuum cleaners, and trying to keep it clean was a complete nightmare because you couldn't sweep it; you had to vacuum it, and it was more work for the soldiers too. But anyhow, that was a total waste of money. I don't know the exact amount, but I'm guessing for the 12 buildings, they probably spent, I don't know, $400,000-$500,000. That was totally wasted. They could have bought like brand new Humvees, or whatever, or something else. Gave the money to homeless. It's taxpayer money that was just totally wasted on stuff that didn't need to be fixed. It didn't. I could understand if you needed a wall locker or you needed a bunk bed, get it. But they didn't need a wall locker, and they did not need a bunk bed or a desk. The stuff they had worked. It worked. So that was a total waste of money. And here, I'll give you another quick example before I end this video. I got into logistics because I started out as a mechanic, and then I went to truck driver, and then I went to logistics. And then I found out that when you have a meal plan for soldiers out in the field, they get an apple and an orange for each soldier, okay? Each soldier, which is great, but here's the big but. Not everybody eats an apple and an orange. They don't. They don't force you to eat an apple and an orange. It's your choice. It's your choice, and not everyone does. So therefore, it's like 60% eat an apple and an orange, so 40% gets thrown into a landfill. And it's like, I think I mentioned it to one of my superiors once. I said, hey, how come we're ordering so many apples and oranges when they're getting thrown away? Army regulations, we've got to supply every trooper with an apple and an orange. It's like, hey, just do like 65%. Be quiet. They told me. But anyhow, if you times all the units that are going out to the field and out on deployments, and every soldier's getting an apple and an orange, when not every soldier eats it. So get like 65% apples and oranges and call it a day, and you could save all that money. I mean, it'd be a simple fix. It'd be a simple fix. Do a study on it, exactly how many people eat apples and oranges. And they might have changed this. They could have changed this. Maybe they did implement that. But these are a couple of examples on how they waste lots and lots of money, where if they would just kind of budget, and if they would just kind of look at what they're doing with the money, we'd be so much more powerful and have so much more money to go to different things. Because I'm telling you, if people would just realize, like, hey, you don't need a wood desk. A steel one's okay. A steel one's okay. You don't need a wood bunk bed. A steel one is okay, because the steel lasts forever. It lasts forever. But anyhow, I just thought I'd give you my 2 cents on waste in the military. And I'm sure, leave comments below, the negative ones, like, you don't know what it's like to use a steel wall locker, blah, blah, blah. We want the wood ones. Nah, I don't agree, because the wood won't last. And that carpet, sure, the hell wouldn't last. Because matter of fact, it was getting wore out within like months. I wasn't there when they removed it, but it was getting wore out within months, like a wear mark right down the middle. The carpet thing was like the stupidest idea. The dumbest idea. Leave comments below if anyone remembers this. If you happen to be at Fort Carson back in the 90s when they got rid of all the steel bunk beds and the wood desks and bunk beds replaced, and then the carpeting. But anyhow, leave the comments below. Good ones, bad ones. Like and subscribe. I'm gonna have more videos on shenanigans in the military, because it was actually a lot of fun. I encourage anyone that's young, anybody that's young, that can serve the country, go ahead and serve the country, because we really need you, and you won't regret it. You'll have a lot of fun. So anyhow, until next time, have a good one.